I do want to bring in author, music historian, and Beatles expert Bruce Spizer on this. Bruce, thank you for making the time tonight.
I'm glad to be here.
John Lennon, obviously one of the most incredible music talents and brains of our time. He did say once, quote, "I sincerely believe in love and peace. I am a violent man who has learned not to be violent and regrets his violence." Your insight on the complexities of this man and the legacy that he has even today?
Well, I think the most important thing about John, the legacy, he was an incredible songwriter. Many songs, of course, written with his partner, Paul McCartney. And in addition to that, John would have a really great voice. And sadly, John never really appreciated how brilliant his voice was. If you listen to songs like Julia or In My Life, you can hear how pure it is. And also the rawness of it in a song like Twist and Shout, which would be one of the greatest rock and roll vocals of all time. So a very gifted songwriter. He certainly uh, didn't hold things back. He was overtly political toward the Beatles' later career, where he didn't want to be viewed as a mop top anymore. He spoke out against the Vietnam War. He wrote songs such as Revolution, Give Peace a Chance, and Imagine. So I think these were the things about John that I remember most about him. Extremely talented, the person who put the Beatles together, and just created an incredible amount of music, and sadly taken from us way too soon.
Yeah, and it is so interesting that you bring up he was actually so insecure about his voice as well. It's hard to imagine because, as you mentioned, so many of us just love the purity in his voice. What do you think he would think of artificial intelligence being used to resurrect that voice recently?
Well, I think he would be fine with artificial intelligence being used to bring it out on a poor recording tape with extraneous noises.
Mm-hmm.
I think he would be horrified to think that artificial intelligence would recreate his voice. On the Beatles song Now and Then, it did not recreate a John Lennon vocal. What it did was it got rid of all the extraneous noises so you could hear John's pure voice. And he was very much into technology, so I think he would have been fine with that.
I appreciate you bringing up that context. It is important. Bottom line, 44 years later, what do you think is the most important part of his legacy in this country today?
Well, I think the Beatles had a tremendous impact on, ironically enough, on Western culture that they didn't set out to do. They were like a giant sponge in that they would sponge up influences of culture and, of course, different types of music, such as rock and roll from Chuck Berry, country harmonies from the Everly Brothers, and then they would release it back into the world. And their musical legacy is the type of thing that we'll be talking about, hundreds of years from now, in the same way that you talk about Schubert, Beethoven, Louis Armstrong. Great music is timeless, and John contributed to a timeless catalog of music.
I wish we had more time. I think it is so interesting. I know you've pointed out that Smokey Robinson recently came to the Beatles' defense, actually saying that they were the first white group to be that honest about their influences and where they were getting some of this music from. Bruce Spizer, I appreciate your time tonight. Thank you so much.
Sure enough. Glad to have been here.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.